Now let's proceed with writing our C++ implementation based on the algorithm that we have discussed for, using the binary search algorithm that we have discussed for finding the maximum value index in a sorted and rotated array. So here I have created the new file and I have created the class and I have added the main method and function call as well. So let's just directly jump on to the implementation. So here we have defined a function. In the end we need to return the index, and the input that we have taken is vector of integers. Now first of all, let me just read the length of the array that we have got, which is nothing but array of size. Now if at all this length is equal to 0, that basically means that the array is empty. In that case, obviously we will simply return -1. Okay, if this is not the case, then we actually have a sorted array and rotated as well. Remember that the problem statement clearly mentions that the array that we get is sorted in the ascending order and rotated at least once. So we don't have to do any validations on this array. So we are 100% sure that we will get the valid input. Now to apply the binary searching, let's just define the start, and along with that let's also define the end, which is nothing but length -1. Similarly, let's just define middle. Now here let's just simply run a loop as long as the start is less than end. Let's calculate the middle. Middle is nothing but start plus end divided by 2. If at all the value we have at this middle, if it is greater than the value we have at the start. Now observe here. Here we calculated the middle. The value we have at the middle index is greater than the value we have at the start index. That means the middle index value is greater. Since we are trying to find the maximum value, can be the value at the middle index or any value that is there on the right of the middle. So to continue our search on the right part of the array, here I will update start with middle index itself. Remember, this is an important thing here. In all other approaches that we have discussed previously, what we were doing, we were updating the start with middle plus 1. Since it is a sorted and rotated array, the value at the middle could be the maximum value, because the condition that we have put here is the value at the middle index is greater than the value at the start index. That's the reason why any value from middle and on the right of the middle could be a maximum value. That's why to continue our search on the from middle to the remaining values on the right, we have updated the start to middle index. If this is not the case, obviously we will update the end with middle, such that the maximum value could be anywhere on the left part of the array. Okay, that is what it is. Okay, by the time we complete this loop, right, whatever the index that we will have inside this start variable, that will be the value. As a result, we need to return that index. So here we will simply return start itself. Okay, so that is the implementation of finding the max values index in a sorted and rotated array using binary search. Now let's just call this function and evaluate. Here the array of values that I have passed are not actually sorted and rotated. Let me just give the values right from the beginning. Now this is a completely sorted array, right? Now to make this array sorted and rotated, what I will do is I will copy some values from the beginning and I will paste them in the end. Now this array is basically rotated 3 times, right? Because 1, 2, 3 were there in the beginning of the array and we moved them to the end of the array. Now if I execute this, the maximum value is 6, right? And it is available at index 2. So if I run this right now, the output should be index 2. Okay, 2 is what we have got. Similarly, let's just say here instead of 6 we had 0. Now the maximum value is 5 and the index is 1. So if I run this right now, the output is 1. Okay, so that is what we have got. Similarly, let's just say one more thing where the values are like this: 5, 6, 7, 8 and 3. Now this array is rotated only once and the maximum value is 8 and its index is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I run this right now, the output should be 4, which is perfect. So whatever the solution that we have written for getting the maximum values index in a sorted and rotated array is working absolutely fine. Okay, remember that whatever the array that we have got is sorted in the ascending order and rotated at least once. Now we will basically reuse this implementation when we basically try to solve a problem where we search a particular value that we get from the user in a sorted and rotated array. That I will be implementing in the next video. Okay, anyway, that's it for this one. I'll see you in the next problem.